Hey folks, today we're at the Tour de France for a complete look at all the smart trainers that the teams use. Now, the first thing to keep in mind on smart trainers is that all these teams are sponsored by a smart trainer company, one of the big 4 smart trainer companies. So the fact that they're using it is more just about sponsorship, and most interestingly, we're going to see some brand new gear that we haven't seen before announced just today out here. So with that, let's jump inside the team paddock and take a look at things.
Can I have a picture?
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Here we go, quick selfie time. Into the team area we go. Now, once inside the team area, everyone is required to wear a mask, so hopefully my mics pick up things just fine. Now, today is an individual time trial. That means each of the riders go off individually, one after another, roughly every 30 seconds or so, on this relatively short 13-kilometer prologue course. So first up, we got Team Jumbo-Visma, one of the guys warming up here, one of the very first riders to go in today's individual time trial stage. You see he's riding a Tax Neo 2T. That's Tax's high-end trainer, and Jumbo-Visma being one of the Dutch companies is sponsored by TAC, which is also a Dutch company. Now, perhaps even more interesting is he's wearing a cooling vest, which isn't unusual on hotter stages or longer stages, but this being only a 13-kilometer stage and it's relatively kind of cool today is a bit surprising. But in talking to some of the core temperature folks here, they said that every little bit half a degree counts, especially for these riders, and especially when looking at the entire duration of the tour. Having the riders accustomed to that protocol early is what they're aiming for here. In fact, we see the same use of the cooling vest here at Movistar, though they are kind of putting on the rider a little bit later into their warm-up period. And keep in mind, the whole point of a warm-up period is because this stage is so short, it's only, again, 13 kilometers, which means that they really want these riders kind of going into it hot. For all the other normal stages, it's very rare for a rider to warm up unless they're planning on going out from the very beginning on some sort of sprint, and then they might do a warm up, but otherwise, that first couple kilometers, they can get things warmed up. Now, in the case of Movistar, they are using the Elite Suito or Suito-C. It's the exact same trainer, just simply one comes with a cassette and one doesn't, but these are pretty capable mechanics. They can install their own cassettes if they need to. Meanwhile, Team Green Edge here has got the pizza boxes out behind me on the table. They've been having a party waiting for this ride to start. And in their case, they're running the Tax Neo 2T. For the most part, you're going to see that most of the teams that are sponsored by Tax, not most, all the teams that are sponsored by Tax should be running the Tax Neo 2Ts. All the ones by Wahoo should be running the Wahoo Kicker, except one is not. More about that in a second. And in the case of Elite, we've also got a neat surprise there as well with one of the brand new trainers. Speaking of Elite, we've got here Team B&B Hotels. In this case, they're running the Elite Diretto XR. That is what was their high-end model up until today. And we'll go and find that new high-end model in just a moment here. You can see that they got the wheels off the trainer there sitting behind us. So they know which wheel goes with which bike, so everything's kind of tuned up for that particular bike. You'll notice they are running power to each one of these trainers. Some trainers don't require power, some do. This does give them more flexibility though in terms of what workouts they want to do. If they want to do something controlled by their phone, etc., they can do that pretty easily themselves on their own phones. Now check this out here at Team Quickstep. They're not only running the Tax Neo 2T, but they've taken the time to put the Tax motion plates below each one. But again, that's sponsorship. That's the whole point of this thing, is to show off that kind of technology and to ultimately make the sponsors feel like they're getting their money's worth. Okay, fun side note that has nothing to do with bike trainers. Every single one of the team buses has laundry machines below them. You can see these two right here, but every single team bus has it because that's the easiest way for them to be able to do laundry in a guaranteed way across 21 stages and up to 20 different hotels over the course of the tour. Now, just a quick note, if you are finding this video interesting and useful, now's a great time to whack that like button. It really does help with this video and the channel quite a bit. So just how long is the warm-up that these riders are doing? Well, it'll vary by team and of course their coaches and whatnot. But in the case of Team Astana here, I just simply ask. Yeah, roughly how long?
25 minutes more or less.
And a cool down as well, or not?
Yeah, no, less cool down, maybe 10, 15 minutes.
So if you want to know a fun way to figure out which team is in which particular trainer manufacturer favorites list, here is the new Elite Justo trainer with Team UAE right here. Yeah, right next door, we've got the older Elite Suito and Suito-T trainers with AG Duar. So you know which team the Elite folks love the most. That new Elite Justo was just announced this morning. Pretty cool, it's their hop-end trainer. You can check out my full review up in the corner on that. Now, there are good reasons why teams might want to go with some older trainers like that. Sometimes it's simply just due to logistics. This is the most important race of the year for these teams, and when you have mechanics and others, you may not want to introduce brand new hardware on day one of, again, the Tour de France. You can see here, I'm on the Elite Suito, and then just behind me down there, also another team, Bahrain Victorious, again on the Elite Suito. Now, love it or hate it, is hard to deny that Team Education First is without question the flashiest team in the peloton today. They're easy to spot everywhere. You can see we're customized. The Wahoo Kicker is complete with team colors. Team Education First tends to go the distance when it comes to coordination of all that little stuff, more so than really any other team. That was one of the Velon staff there taking off the GoPro on one of the riders. Velon is a bit of an organization that deals with kind of all the rider stuff and all the team stuff representing them, and they've long done on-camera, on-course GoPro action. The way it usually works for these shorter stages is the Velon staff place cameras that they want on certain riders, and then they go ahead and turn them on beforehand, they turn them off afterwards, they grab them, etc. On the longer stages though, it's actually up to the riders to choose when to turn on and off the GoPros. Kind of neat. You'll notice he's still using the GoPro session, the little session from years ago, still being used. Here we got Team Cofidis on the Elite Diretto XR as well. Again, you can see kind of those three standard Elite trainers, the Suito, the Diretto XR, and then now coming up with the Justo. There we go, quick group photo. Boom. All sorts of awesomeness today. Everyone coming up for the tour, despite this totally awesome weather. It is starting to really pour out here, which means some of the team riders are going down. You can see just a second ago, one of the Team Education First riders went down, caught him coming back into the team bus there. Not a good way to start your tour. So you may notice behind me there's a wheel-on trainer for one of the Team DSM riders. In the past, sometimes teams have used the wheel-on trainers because it's easier for the time trial stage, in particular with disc wheels and stuff like that. I was curious as to why they're using that.
Yeah, he's in cool down. He's just done, so
Just spinning nice and easy. Yep.
spinning to back on the road bike, and it's just easier to use the different systems. Warm-up guys are always on the Devos because the power's important.
Yep.
Like, in their warm-up. But he's just cooling down, so it's just an easy spin.
It's always interesting to compare how organized some of the different teams are mechanic-wise. You'll notice here they've got the Tax Neo 2Ts, but behind them, they've got the bags for those 2Ts that are ready to roll. They've got the mat out. None of the wiggle plates here today, none of the Tax Motion plates on Total Energies, but they are looking pretty sharp nonetheless. Now you can see here at Team Trek, they've got the whole collection of Wahoo trainers out there. They've got the Wahoo kickers they're warming up on, but in the very back there, you can see one of the Wahoo rollers. The Wahoo roller is ideal for a time trial stage like this, especially when you don't want to deal with taking a rear wheel off, in this case a disc wheel. Notice also they got the Wahoo headwind fans up there, so again, fully Wahoo sponsored team. As you would expect with the sponsored teams, really showing off that sponsored equipment. Here we are, Team Inuos warming up the Tax Neo 2Ts. Again, this is a Garmin and Tax sponsored team, so that makes sense. They've each got iPads out there just to simply count down the time, that's it. There's no structural workouts on them, no Zwift or anything like that. It's just simply showing the current time of day, that's it. Here we are, Team Intermarché. They don't normally ride with their helmets, by the way, and the trainers are actually just adjusting a couple of straps inside there. Another Wahoo sponsored team here, Team Bora Hansgrohe. By the way, need a wheel? Check out inside that truck there. That is completely the norm, by the way. Every single one of these teams has that many wheel sets available for both their TT bikes as well as their road bikes. They're going to go through a lot of wheels over the course of the tour. It's astounding just how much equipment these teams take with them on the tour in order to make sure they make it to the end. Another one of the chosen teams right here, Team FDG with the new Elite Justo. They've got a whole slate of them ready to roll. But again, as I mentioned earlier on, it's really about logistics. In fact, the vast majority of the teams here will not take a new equipment after usually the training camp. There are little things like trainers they may do because it's not going to impact them out on the road. But in terms of things like new power meters and that kind of stuff, it is incredibly rare for a team to take those on board mid-season. So once the riders are done warming up, they're going to make their way all the way down this road here to the start line, usually with the team car, though in some cases the team cars are already there based on a rider before them, just finishing up, and then from there they get themselves up into the starting stack and off they roll. Okay, there you go, a complete look at the smart trainers of the 2022 Tour de France. Hopefully you found this interesting. If so, give it a like down the bottom there or hit subscribe. And if not, here's a laundry machine to kind of finish things off.